Hello, my name is S.Anjum. I'm the Assistant Department Leader of Maths at Challney High School for Girls.
Hello, my name is M.Rahman and I'm a maths teacher at Challney High School for Girls.
Welcome to this presentation on strategies to stretch more able students in maths. These strategies can be implemented in other subjects as well. Today we will explore strategies, examples, and the role of strong subject knowledge. So before we look at the strategies, let's look at how do we identify more able students. More able students are identified using the data from CATS and SAT scores. In our school, we also consider teacher observation, like if a particular student is showing strong problem solving skills, quick grasp of concept, curiosity, and reasoning.
Importance of challenge. From the Education Data Lab, if we look at the past 5 or 6 years of maths results for grade 9 to 7 for 16-year-olds, it has decreased from 2023 and 2024. Besides the results, there are other key reasons why we need to challenge students.
So why is it important to stretch more able students? Without appropriate challenges, more able students may not reach their full potential, leading to underachievement. We need to provide challenging tasks that encourage students to explore concepts more in depth, enhancing critical thinking and problem solving skills. Providing opportunities to take challenges and even fail in a supportive environment helps them develop resilience and a growth mindset. Collaboration with intellectual peer can improve their social skills and benefit from interactions where they learn from each other, like strategies or different approaches to solve a problem. Stretching prepares them for advanced studies and competitive career. More able students need depth, flexibility, and challenge which only a confident, knowledgeable teacher can provide. Teachers with strong subject knowledge explore connection between topics, respond to unexpected questions, and promote high-level discussion. To improve subject knowledge, teachers can engage with high quality CPD or team teach with a colleague who has strong subject knowledge. At our school, at the beginning of each department meeting, we complete few grade 9 questions as starter. Department time is also used to deliver CPD on teaching higher content. More able students sometimes develop a fear of failure, avoiding challenges to maintain a smart identity, which can lead to perfectionism and reluctance to take risks. We sometimes see, even after including challenging questions in our planning, students are reluctant to give a start, especially some girls, as they do not want to make mistakes. They want their books to be presentable. We can encourage such students to use mini whiteboards or use dry erasable pockets. Because it's erasable, students know mistakes are not permanent. This creates a safe space to try, fail, erase, and try again without pressure. They can then view mistakes as learning opportunities, reducing anxiety and promoting resilience. Rich tasks should be accessible to all, but open enough to challenge the more able students. These are some of the rich tasks that we use to stretch more able students. Problem solving encourages critical thinking and innovation through challenging scenarios. We can support students in problem solving abilities by breaking down complex problems into manageable parts and applying strategic thinking. Students also need to spend time on developing fluency and reasoning to be in a strong position to tackle problems. You can find a good collection of problem solving questions based on topics on Mathsbox. These are scaffolded worksheets which first says the skills needed to answer a problem solving question, followed by a set of similar questions to develop fluency. To foster active learning and engagement, you can ask students to create problems like maths problems. You can give them answer and ask them to create questions which will give them this answer. For example, my answer is 100, what is my questions? Students can create questions based on the topic they are currently learning. Always, sometimes, never statements. They promote logical reasoning and evaluation of concepts. They also reinforce mathematical language and also foster collaboration when students work in group to give examples. Low floor, high ceiling are suitable for diverse learners, allowing entry at different levels and potential for advanced explorations. Which is the odd one out or which one does not belong is a set of four objects or shapes or expressions or graphs with interesting similarities and differences. There is no right or wrong answer to this set of questions. Students need to give the reason. For this example here, average students will give reasons based on the coefficient of x squares or the roots of the graph. The same activity, we can stretch the more able students, asking them to work out the possible equations or generate the fourth graph for the second example here. I asked more able students to do a research on application of trigonometry. We then looked at a practical lesson on how civil engineers use trigonometry to calculate the height of building or any other objects using clinometer. On the top photo here, you can see a group of students calculating speed of the runners in a PE club, which is a great example of cross-curricular links between subjects. One more example of rich tasks are goal-free problems. Goal-free problems are open-ended mathematical tasks that omit a specific question or objective, inviting students to explore.
Characteristics of higher order thinking tasks are strategic thinking, problem solving, and analysis skills. Another great example is numberless questions. These are questions where the numbers are removed and students need to think strategically. They focus on the process rather than the calculations. We can generate a lot of open-ended and numberless questions using AI. Here is a basic prompt for either. You just type this in for the topic you are looking for and search for your question. The question at the bottom can be adapted. For example, you can change the y-intercept and ask them what effect that would have on the values of p and the equation of line 2. Questions like these have missing numbers on the graphs. Students need to factorize the actual equation to find the values on the graph. Below is another example of an adapted question. This is a reasoning questions where students have to justify, and also below is another adapted question. Questions like these open up discussions linked to real life, for example, sample size, natural disasters, crashes, and so on. Here is an example of a question that gets students building systems for simultaneous equations. Students can focus on the relationships and actions described in the problem rather than getting sidetracked by calculations. They learn to identify the core problem and plan a solution strategy. Students analyze the context, identify relevant information, and make logical deductions. Numberless problems help build a strong foundation for tackling more complex mathematical concepts. The skills learned can be applied to various situations, not just those involving specific numbers.
More able students can be given assignment on real-world application or research on different jobs and present it to the class. This is an example of a group of Year 9 more able students' work.
Another example of independent learning is flipped learning. Flipped learning is when before you start a lesson or topic, you send students a video or reading materials to research on what they're going to learn. This gives them a better starting point when you start the lesson, which then opens up more time for purposeful and challenging tasks. You could start off by sharing basic videos to your classes before you start the topic. so they can do a bit of research and get a head start. You can also go to QuizTube. You can paste your YouTube link here. Here you can add questions to any time in the video. You can add as many questions as you want and share it to your class. Another one is Edpuzzle. Edpuzzle is good because you can integrate it with your Google Classroom, so you have all your students and your classes there. Similar to the previous one, you can add questions at your desired times. Edpuzzle has a different range of questions. You can put multiple choice, open-ended questions, and you can also add notes. Here, students aren't able to progress in the video until they've answered the questions. The key difference to Edpuzzle is you can see your students and what scores they got for which videos. You can even see what they answered for which questions. Here are some links we shared for recommended reading. Talking Maths with Kids is the website where students use oracy and verbal skills to discuss certain concepts. We have also shared links to Third Space Learning, Flip Learning Research Report, and Enrich Maths. Have a go at some of these strategies and let us know how it goes, what went well, and improvements that can be made.
Our questions for you. What are your favorite rich tasks? How do you stretch more able students? And how do you stay up to date with your subject knowledge? Thank you for listening. Please leave your answers in the comment section.
Thank you for listening and watching.